goes without saying that your monitor is essentially the most crucial or important component for your whole entire setup. And in today's video, we're going to review the LG UltraGear 32, 6, and 600. It was first available on February 21st, 2021. So it's about 3 years old now, but nonetheless, you know how we feel about legacy components and legacy hardware here on this channel. That's not going to stop me or us as a community from either recommending this monitor or essentially checking it out. But essentially what you're getting with the monitor is a 25x60 1440p VA panel, Quad HD or QHD, right? So it still has that 16:9 aspect ratio, but at a larger resolution than 1080p. We're going to get to that more along the lines down here in this video in a second. But this VA panel, the LG UltraGear 32 GN600, comes with a 165 refresh rate. Pretty fast, right? Pretty fast, especially for competitive games or Twitch-based games that require you to have a quick reaction and response time. And now LG's UltraGear 32 GN600 does come with HDR10, so it has support for enabling near realistic visuals and just upping the immersion experience or upping the immersion level with rich colors. And that way it can help us as gamers or help you as a gamer experience the game the way the developers intended. Now jumping towards the back of the monitor, the input-output array is pretty basic and straightforward, but you will get one HDMI input-output connector and one DisplayPort input-output connector here in the back of the monitor. And then it also comes with a built-in headphone jack here towards the back of the monitor, which is a good thing being that this monitor doesn't have built-in speakers. But essentially at 2560 by 1440p, I mean, this resolution has more pixel density or detail than say 1920 by 1080p, with 3.7 trillion or over 2 times more detail or 2 times more pixelation than 1080p. A very popular and common resolution and super easy to get into, sure. But for gamers who are looking to really get more out of their games, slightly more, like take advantage of that 2 times more detail, then switching over to a 2560 by 1440p panel could be a good option for you. And now initially I'm going to rate this monitor based off of the setup experience. And now the setup was essentially pretty easy and straightforward. You just had the base, and then you had about 2 other components that went along with it that made up the base. You just connected them, plopped them right in, screw in 2 screws, and you were good to go. This monitor does not have any height adjustable features. It does have a tilt feature. It also has this virtually borderless design here along the sides of the monitor. And essentially when the monitor is turned off, it's a little bit easy to not notice the borders on the side, essentially because it's all black and it just looks like one complete unit or just one complete component, like it's just a monitor. But as you see here, when we turn the monitor on, the edges doesn't necessarily come off or doesn't necessarily appear to look borderless. So yeah, not necessarily a deal breaker, but features like the ability to adjust the height of your monitor can't go overlooked. This is something that typically I like to do, or depending on the game or depending on how I'm sitting in my chair, it would have been nice to have this feature. But again, we are rocking with a monitor that comes in at just a little over 200 USD, at about 209 USD. But going back to the setup was super easy, straightforward. It did not take long at all. It almost took the same amount of time, say just unboxing the monitor as it did, or than it did putting the monitor together, at least just the base of the monitor. And that was essentially all this setup that was required. It came with a DisplayPort, which is super helpful, I will say, if you didn't initially plan, or let's just say it slipped your mind and you forgot. But the LG UltraGear 32 GN600 does come with the DisplayPort, so this could save you time and a little bit of money because it's factored into the cost. I mean, DisplayPort cord maybe cost you about 10-15 bucks depending on the generation type you get, and the same thing goes with an HDMI should you want to go that direction. This monitor does have a candleless per square meter brightness of about 350, which is essentially good for gamers. It's recommended that we hover somewhere between that 200 to 300 mark in terms of brightness. So this monitor is at least checking off that spec. And initially when I turned it on, the monitor looked pretty bright to me, like just vibrant and just rich and colorful, at least here on the desktop. It does come with a single button solution that allows you to navigate the monitor's settings. You can do things like change the monitor type or the monitor mode. You could also do things like tweak other little small settings and categories here with the monitor to really tailor it to your unique play style. But for me personally, once I got done messing around with the settings here in the monitor, I got a look that felt, that I was comfortable with, and then I was ready to fire up some games. And I did play a wide range or a wide variety of games like Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption, and Fortnite, just to name a few. And overall, essentially in all of the games I tested, I wanted to look for things like image quality, brightness, the color range, how much graphic detail or how much detail were we really able to notice, taking advantage of that 2x pixel count versus say 1920 by 1080p. And games like Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora really was able to display what the LG UltraGear 32G and 600 was capable of, because all of the colors looked rich and vibrant. The details were there. I didn't notice any ghosting. The same thing can be said with Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a super detail written game, and with the graphics cranked up to high ultra, this game looked really good. And I know it's hard to tell with the footage that you're seeing on screen now, or that you've seen on screen, but in person, you really could notice the extra bit of details because it's so condensed, it's so packed that it really livens the game to all new levels. And I found myself playing some of these games and forgetting that I was actually working or in the middle of a review, because the picture quality looked good, the detail looked good. All the games I played, I wanted to grab games that could maximize detail quality, and games that the 4070 Super, the graphics card that I paired with this monitor, was capable of powering this resolution and the refresh rate. I wasn't able to say hit that 165 refresh rate mark in all of the games, but games like Fortnite that was cranking in over 200, or a range or a spectrum that I recommend you be at, and that's at least surpassing your monitor's refresh rate. Being that this monitor does have FreeSync Premium, but we were not going to turn that on, but being that this monitor does have FreeSync Premium, the more preferred synchronized refresh rate technology is G-Sync, and to get a monitor that is G-Sync certified will cost you a noticeable difference. So if that's something that is important to you, do keep that in mind, that the LG UltraGear 32G and 600 does not come with G-Sync. It just comes with FreeSync Premium. And then really fast here on the subject of your refresh rate, if you get a new monitor and you notice that it's not the refresh rate, or it's not set at its maximum refresh rate output, here's how to quickly fix that. You just want to head to your desktop, right click, select display settings, click on advanced display settings, and then click on choose refresh rate. You want to set the refresh rate to whatever your maximum monitor output, or if you want to go below that, say this monitor supports 165 hertz, but you want to set it to 144 hertz, go for it. But essentially that is how you set your refresh rate. And now, what would I rate the LG UltraGear 32G and 600? Starting with the initial setup process, easy. It's going to get a high A from there because there wasn't much work to be done in terms of assembly. So I'm going to grade the monitor. I'm going to give it a solid A in that category, because so long as you have a Phillips screwdriver, fam, you really don't need nothing else to set this monitor up. In terms of functionality and say ease of use, I'm also going to give it about a B. I'm going to give it a solid B there. It's pretty easy and straightforward, but you do have a wide range of settings on the monitor to tweak should you really want to dial in custom setup profile that's going to be aligned more with, again, the type of games you play and how you wish to experience them. In terms of brightness and performance, I'm going to give the monitor another solid A here, because again, I did not have any issues with the games I played, or just testing and just making sure that for the average high-end enthusiast or gamer that's looking to upgrade and not break the bank or break the budget and say acquire a monitor in this price category and of this caliber. And then with the overall build quality and other features, I'm going to have to drop it down and give it a C here. Again, not having the ability to adjust the height of your monitor seems a bit rudimentary, and it doesn't necessarily have a premium feel. It kind of gives it that premium look with the red in the back of the monitor. That does look pretty cool and pretty neat, bringing the LG UltraGear 32GN600 to a final grade of a B+. So it gets a passing grade from your boy Lab and a monitor that I would recommend. But if you were to ask yourself, you say, hey, who is this monitor for? When the LG UltraGear 32GN600 has a large screen with that 31.5 inch, viewing radius, so it has a large screen for maximum viewing space and for, improved visual real estate in your games, and the offering of the best of both worlds with twice the detail than 1920 by 1080p. Packaged with a blazing fast refresh rate at 165 Hertz. That is quick. That also won't break the bank or your budget. The LG UltraGear 32GN600 is essentially for gamers who are ready to take their experience to the next level with their visuals and really are ready hardware-wise as well to push the boundaries of their games. So if that's you, you're looking to make the leap to the 32GN600, the LG UltraGear 32GN600, I will leave links down in the description box below where you can read more about the monitor or head over and pull the trigger if this review hopefully provided enough detail and contextual information to help you make a smart and informed buying decision. You can currently find the LG UltraGear 32GN600 currently priced at $209 USD over on Amazon. It's well worth the price point, again, if you're a gamer who falls into that category. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. If you haven't yet, hit the like button for me on this video on your way in or on your way out. If you're new to the community, I do hope I've earned your subscription and you'll subscribe with the notification bell turned on. I hit a wall, and with your help, we can break through it. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. It's been your boy Lab. I do hope to catch you all in the next one. So until then, be easy.